What is good, everyone? This is the Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. We are excited because we are talking M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. And this, if you are familiar and have been a fan of the podcast, you know that we bring this movie up a lot. We always seem to be drawn back to Signs. This is not the first time we've talked about it, and it probably won't be the last.
No, it won't be the last.
No. This will be like a once-a-year thing, revisiting Signs yearly.
Got to do one M. Night Shyamalan movie a year.
It was about a year ago that we did it last. I know we have a new crew, which is why we're doing it again. But even on social media, our most popular posts are when we talk Signs.
Well, let's get to it, man.
Just have you hyping it up and Cody knocking it down each year. That's what's about to happen.
Dallas is the middle ground, yeah. Before we get started, during the third segment, we are accepting your calls. We want to hear what you guys think of M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Now, write this down. The number is 801-331-8113. Let me say that again. 801-331-8113. Write that down. Give us a call during the third segment. We're going to be taking your calls, and we're excited to hear. Dallas, let me get started with you since you're the middle ground, and you're going to have to keep Cody and I grounded. What do you think of Signs? Give us your thoughts. Give us your rating.
I think the first time you watch it, it's definitely way better. I don't know. The first time I watched it, honestly, what I would say is probably I would have given it like an 8.5, honestly. But the few more times that I have watched it, I don't know. Each time, that's kind of my problem with M. Night Shyamalan movies. The first time you watch it, it's always the best, and then each time you're kind of like, well, I already know kind of what's coming. Everything's good. So, I mean, it still is a good movie in my opinion. So I'm gonna give it a 7.2.
7.2,
personally, but yeah.
Awesome, Cody.
This is a really, really, really close to being a good movie. I gave it a 5.8. So,
which is higher than Tenet.
This is higher than Tenet. Because when I was watching it, I watched it again last night because it's been a while since I've seen it. So I was kind of thinking maybe I might like it better. But there's so many problems with this movie. So much foreshadowing. I don't know how fast you want to get into the problems, but that's my score I gave it is at a 5.8 because I don't like to give really, really bad scores to movies unless they're just terrible. So... But 5.8 is where I'm at right now.
We won't get into the bad stuff yet because let me talk. So this is not my first time on the podcast reviewing Signs. And I rewatched it twice this weekend, and I re-listened to the original podcast we had on it. And the original podcast, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Now, Dallas, you said the first time you watched it, you'd probably give it an 8, and then you lowered it to a 7.2. Watching it twice this weekend, I now changed my score to a 9 out of 10. And this is why. There is a lot I missed, and I realized more and more watching it and paying attention. Because the first time you watch it, there's things you just have to take at surface value. You just see it as an alien movie with a few convenient plot points, right? Now that I know what's going on, I was able to pay attention more. This is close to a masterpiece for me.
Oh, my.
Now, hold on. When I said in that first podcast, I said this is just an alien movie with cool plot points, and it's nothing more than that. A cool suspense thriller, which is one of my favorite genres, and the suspense in this, and the thrill factor is amazing to me.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
But I want to retract my statement. This is not an alien movie. This is a religious movie. This is a movie on religion where aliens are just thrown to the side. Right, and I think there's huge commentary. I watched an interview with M. Night Shyamalan where he said the scariest part of this whole movie, and M. Night Shyamalan's actually very religious, very. And he said the scariest part of this movie is not the aliens taking over the world, it's a man who was so close to God falling away. And say what you will about religion, whatever your belief is, but that is such an interesting dynamic to play in with a science fiction thriller like this, and it draws me in. Cody, I'm going to return to you because I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. I know the faults on this, so I want you to go. Go for it.
Well, kind of talking to what you're saying. I agree with you. When I was watching it the second time, I found more of the religious aspect than I did the Alien. But why mix it? The mixing of what he was trying to come across with the religion and mixing it with aliens that coming down to Earth, it seems a little too muddy and too muddled and too far-fetched. Now we can
Hard to argue.
We can go to the aliens that are allergic to water, which is... So, when I was watching this last night...
I can't wait to talk about that very point, man.
Okay. So, I was watching this last night, because that's my biggest beef, right? Mm-hmm. Is that these aliens are basically defeated by water, and a bat, and wood, and...
A kitchen knife.
A kitchen knife, and a pantry door. So these are the most advanced, primitive aliens I've ever heard of in my life. Okay, they come down to this Earth that's covered by 71% water, attack human beings. So they come down to harvest our bodies, right? And we're over 70% water. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. So either one, they're just an aberration or a fantasy of Mel Gibson, and he's concocted this.
There's a theory that they're demons, actually, which is why the water burns them, but I put no.
That would make more sense.
That would make a lot more sense.
That would, like, bump up my score.
You want to go like Constantine, you know? Just
throw the cross in the water and then turn the sprinklers on.
Yeah, just go full Keanu Reeves.
That just blew my mind. Like, if that was it, that would make so much more sense.
Can I talk about the water thing for a second? Let's get it on.
Go in. And I checked out the humidity last night in Pennsylvania. It was 94%.
I've been on an H.G. Wells kick lately.
Okay.
Great author, right? War of the Worlds. The aliens in War of the Worlds are this insanely futuristic, rely on technology sort of thing. You know how they die in the book?
Mm-mm.
Human germs.
Okay.
Simple, and it disintegrates them. Something as simple as that everywhere on here. And the point in H.G. Wells is they get so consumed by relying on their technology that they don't realize that the simplest things, they're so set on they're invincible, that their technology makes them superior over all, that they don't realize that the smallest thing that's over all the planet is what's going to defeat them. That's the same thing with this water, right? That's how I see it, is they feel like they're such an advanced, and they've done their homework, right? They've sent probes. They're staying away from water. Remember, they say they don't go near water. They've sent some probes. They have their ships and whatnot, and they have the strategy. Right, the military guy says, I know what they're doing. This is a military thing. And one thing I didn't notice, I thought that was Bill Hader's dad. I was like, why does this guy seem like Bill Hader so much?
About licking toes.
I know. Is this like Saturday Night Live skit? Yeah.
Sorry, but go ahead.
But I was like, and then I missed it. On the radio broadcast, it says this was just a simple raid. This was just to harvest our bodies. They poison us, they grab us, they dip out of there. Because this whole movie takes place over, 2 days?
He says they're asleep for 12 hours, so I mean the main...
What are they harvesting?
Who cares, dude? Their aliens are here to harvest us.
That's because it's not... Yeah.
I said earlier, aliens are to the backdrop for me. This is a religious piece. So the logic of the aliens bothers me none. Not at all. Dallas, we've been talking a lot. You have got to have an opinion on this water thing, right?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, the water thing, I mean, I don't know. You can either like it or you can hate it. It's really... I mean, I think they would have at least worn, like, some type of garbage bag
but then they can't be invisible.
Body to protect them
or fight back,
you know,
while someone's smacking them with the bat.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if someone came at me with a bat. I don't know what I'd do.
I know,
but
he's 8 feet tall, and he's the aliens. You know, he's got like claws and everything, and he's just kind of like, thank you, walking things. Keep hitting me.
I think that had to do with budget, but.
There's definitely budget problems in this movie. The CGI, even for 2002, is bad.
Yeah. That's my guess is why he didn't fight back. But good. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's... I guess my biggest problem really is with this movie is it's supposed to come across as like a sci-fi like alien, and it really is just a full religious movie. The whole time you're watching, I'm like, this is just a religious movie. And then I guess my other problem with it is M. Night Shyamalan's acting.
I will give you that, dude. He forces himself. He is a bad actor.
Dude, it's not, the whole time I'm watching him, I'm like, why is he in this?
And he forced himself into this.
Not only did he force himself, he gave himself like a critical part.
Yeah.
The pivotal character point of Graham, Mel Brooks' character, is like focused around M. Night Shyamalan, and he blows it, right?
Yes.
So, like I said, this is not a perfect movie to me. M. Night Shyamalan, the effects.
Give it a 9.
I love this movie, dude. I really love it. But that whole thing bugs me. I'll admit, it's like when he's going to leave for the lake and he trapped the alien in the pantry. Don't even get me started, Cody. I see it in your eye. Do not bring up the pantry right now, man. We're talking this horrible acting. See, it's hard to argue on something like this, and I get why you guys bring it down, but it just does not bother me. Now, listen, we're going to get more into it later. I want to give out the phone number again. Write it down, 801-331-8113. Third segment, we are taking your calls. We need more opinions on this, right? We need a lot more information. We need the audience score, right? So 801-331-8113. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. Welcome back, everyone. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. Still going over M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Again, during the third segment, we are taking your calls. That number is 801-331-8113. Now, the movie, it's called Signs. There's a lot of foreshadowing. There's a lot of signs. There's a lot of
foreshadowing.
A lot. I would almost dare to say there's not a single scene, a single piece of dialogue that does not somehow correlate to the signs, the loop, the foreshadowing of this whole movie.
Yeah, it's almost comical. There are some comical points in this movie. The tinfoil hats. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When he walks in the house, I laughed. There are some actual good comedy moments in this movie. But back to the signs. I mean, and the foreshadowing. Those cups. The girl doesn't like to drink. Mm-hmm. All over the house. You know, when it's dawning on him. You know, swing away. Mm-hmm. Swing away, Meryl. I mean, it's a little too on the nose for me.
So it's just too on the nose. It's too much. It's not subtle enough for you?
Yeah, you had that conversation on the couch about conveniences or believing that some higher power is bringing you good luck or not good luck or whatever, or it's just convenient, those two people. But
what do you think, Dallas?
I mean, who keeps a baseball bat on the wall? I don't care if it's my brother is a very good baseball player, and we don't keep in our living room all of his great commemorative record-setting things that have happened. I don't know. That's you want to talk about convenience. And then also, okay, I live with my grandma. She is a hoarder, and she has a lot of cups. How many cups do they have in that house? Because there are, I swear, a million cups. How many cups do they have?
You should see my house. My house is covered in cups right now. I'm like that girl, dude.
Are you?
Oh.
Are you waiting for the invasion?
No, not that reason. I'm just like, my wife is so upset because just last night I left a cup of Pepsi out, and our daughter just grabs it and throws it all over the place. Our house is like that.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
My house is not like that.
I know, which is fair, but like, they build up this relationship, this family, this is how it is, right?
Yeah.
There's those two groups of people, right? There are those that see an event and they think there is a higher power behind this. And there are those who see it and say, merely coincidence, nothing else behind it. Now, whether that completely applies to real life or not, it applies to the movie. And we see this character development of Graham, who, when we first see him, he is in the group of everything is just luck. Even though throughout the whole movie, there are signs everywhere to him that he is in group one, that he should have continued down his faith-driven religious path or whatever. The signs are everywhere, and he's ignoring it.
Yeah.
And it takes something like this. Now,
an alien invasion.
Yeah, Cody, you said it's a weird concept to mix religion and aliens like this. But I think he was just using the aliens to attract people to it. I think it's just a cool plot point. Like I said, the aliens are always just second to me.
Well, he tried to make like an Alfred Hitchcock movie to me. It's what it felt like a little bit.
It's crazy you bring that up because his inspiration behind this movie actually was birds.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple of scenes that reminded me of the birds.
Yeah.
And Alfred Hitchcock. But
well, that's the whole point to me is I see this movie as the two groups of people, right? And a dialogue on where you fall in on that. Again, whether it applies to real life or not, it applies to the movie because by the end, he is back to being in group one, the group that sees everything as a sign. Now, the point with his wife that we kind of bring up with M. Night Shyamalan, she was foreshadowing and saying, see. See. The signs are everywhere. You should not lose faith because of this one event. As tragic as it is, you shouldn't. Because you see everything. You're going to be the one to lead the family to discover these things. The asthma, the water, the bat, all these things. He's the one who leads them to them and saves them from this event.
I think that part's great. I do like that part.
Is this why you give it the 5.8?
Yeah. There's things I really... The suspense is great. The jump scares are really good. I mean, we were watching with my wife last night. She goes, I know it's coming, but I still have chills and I don't want to watch.
What do you think?
Well, no, this movie's not scary to me at all. That's why I'm kind of like, there's no jump scares to me.
There wasn't?
Not even a little bit?
No, there's no like...
You're dead inside.
No, okay, not even that like Brazilian kids party.
No, you know it's coming out.
I didn't when I was 8 years old, man.
Well, okay, yeah, you watched it.
The first time I watched that
part scared you?
That got
I think
me.
the scariest part was probably when he's by the coal shaft or whatever, and you don't see his hand at first, even though it's on him, and it goes up. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't. There's not like the like music with the like boom, or like a loud. It's just kind of like it goes dark and then it's. Yeah. I think that's my biggest because it's supposed to be like this scary sci-fi, and it's like.
Well, hold on. IMDb actually does not have it classified in their categories of horror. It is not classified as horror. It's suspense. It's drama. It's thriller.
It's suspenseful.
Yeah. Let's talk about that scene with the handheld camera at the little kid's birthday party in Brazil or whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you know that's actually rated in the top 10 scariest movie scenes of all time?
I did not know that.
Would you agree?
Top 10? I'd have to think about it.
Would it be in the top 20 for you? Let's say top 20.
Just gut? Yeah, top 20. Going off gut.
Dallas, no?
Yeah, it doesn't crack my top 100. But we've talked about I fall asleep to Goodfellas. My mind is messed up. I love, my favorite horror stuff is like Saw and stuff. I like gory and all that type of stuff. So that stuck with me for a long time. When I first watched Signs, I watched it in theaters, and that got me. But I was
2002?
Yeah, 17. Then so
I was 8 when I first saw this. You know how all kids...
You're a brave 8-year-old.
Oh, well, I was going through an alien phase. You know how all kids just go through an alien phase at some point?
I guess I didn't.
Dude, this is through my alien phase.
That must be a California thing. I don't know.
Well, Dallas was telling me he went through an
I think everyone goes through a little.
Maybe not me. Men in Black, I guess.
Maybe because we kind of grew up with Blink-182 and Tom DeLonge.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
DeLonge,
and all them being obsessed with aliens, we were kind of like, oh yeah, aliens.
I guess Men in Black. I'll go.
Men in Black.
I used to watch this movie all the time. I guess that counts.
Yeah.
You're getting off on a technicality there.
That's true. Well, not really. Okay, I agree with you because now I'm starting to remember all the
alien stuff. Yeah.
Fire in the Sky. I don't know if.
So I'll just share a funny story. I used to watch this movie all the time. I don't know why this movie used to scare the crap out of me as a kid. Nightmares, lights on at night. Couldn't look through windows as a kid. This terrified me. But I loved this movie so much. I was staying the night at my grandma's one night. And growing up in Southern California, there's only 2 Goodyear blimps in existence, and one of them is in Southern California. And I was at my grandma's house one night, and the Goodyear blimp happened to be flying directly over. All the lights just lit up, and I go outside and look up, and I think I'm going to die. I have never been more convinced of an alien invasion than in that moment, and I start screaming to my grandma and my parents, aliens, they're here, they're going to get us. My little brother and sister are crying, everyone is freaking out. It caused, even thinking about it now, I get chills, even though I know it's just a Goodyear blimp. But for that second, this movie was the realest thing in the world for me.
I got that. I feel that. I understand that. Yeah. I don't want to bore that. I got a story similar to that, but I don't want to bore you with it.
Well, you might as well.
It has nothing to do with aliens and nothing to do with the movie, so we're not going to bore it. I'll tell you later.
But this movie made it real for me. Despite the bad CGI, despite the plot points or whatever, there was at least a feeling of this could happen, as ridiculous as it is. They're playing the point of an invasion from a small town family's point of view. We don't see any massive cities destroyed.
Yeah, that's the other thing. No missiles towards the ships, nothing. And crop circles. Oh, we'll get into that in the next segment because that's the most pointless thing.
That was in at the time, dude. Crop circles were a big thing in the 90s, early 2000s.
This movie is very 2000.
Yes.
You can, it ages.
I got a very good peek into M. Night Shyamalan's brain with that movie because he was like, "Oh, crop circles. How could I do with that?" And then he just I think he just
ran with it.
Yeah.
Well, it just plays into the whole signs motif. Here's another sign. And you say there's a lot. And again, that's hard to argue because they're all over the place. Physically, too.
Yeah.
When it's like literally right there, and that's what they use. Let me get the number out for you guys again, because our next segment, we're going to be taking your calls. It is 801-331-8113. We want to hear, right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
I need
100%.
some support.
We need audience opinions. I promise I won't be very mean. Maybe. I don't know. I'm up for a fight. If you guys want to like argue and go at us, like we're all... The number again, 801-331-8113. Call us. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. Welcome back, everyone. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. Going over Signs by M. Night Shyamalan. It's been a crazy conversation. A lot of ups and downs, mostly up from me, a lot of downs from
Yes, very much down.
the house.
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessary. You want to think so?
Well, no, well, I guess it's trying to play the middle. You know, I'm just skating by right in the middle of you two. You know, get the ups and downs out of the way.
Hey, right on. We're taking calls right now. If you have an opinion, 801-331-8113. Dallas, you wanted to talk acting, specifically the child actors. And everyone, this is a stacked cast. These four people, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, no, these four I think are really. I think that's why I give it such a good score. Honestly, the bumping it up to the 7.2 because the movie's okay for me personally. The storyline and the conveniences you want, whatever you want to say, but the acting really is. Besides M. Night Shyamalan's performance is really good, especially I can't remember the actress' name, but Bo in the movie, the little girl. I love her. She's great in everything that she's been in, but especially in this, for how young she is and how well she does, I think she's just phenomenal in this movie.
For a concept that would be well beyond that of a 6-year-old.
Yeah, she's young.
Yeah.
She is young.
She does a great job.
So that's your standout then is...
Yeah, I mean, once you've watched movies with her in them, and then you go back and see that, and you're like, oh, that's... Now I'm upset that I can't remember her name.
I can't remember, but she plays Little Rock in Zombieland, and that's all I could think of.
Yeah, we'll just call her Little Rock.
Little Rock,
yeah.
Yeah, but no, when you see her and you're like, oh, she's so young, but she just immediately, I don't know, as soon as she's on the screen, she just kind of stands out, and I don't know, I just really thought she was great.
There's some big name actors. Mel Gibson did great. Joaquin Phoenix did great. McCulkin. What's his
Rory, yeah.
Rory McCulkin, yeah.
Yeah, and the whole time I was watching that last night, I was like, oh, I couldn't think of his name. So, but yeah, they all did a good job. I was hence why the little
Rory,
higher rating.
have you watched Waco, that miniseries on Waco, Texas, sort of? He's in that, and he plays like a very main character, and his acting is phenomenal. I think he's always been a gifted actor.
Yeah.
Whether or not that runs in the line, or did Macaulay give him some tips?
I think so.
Maybe.
He was a great child actor too. So
Yeah, and he's continued to go on. I see more with Rory than I do Macaulay, but
Rory was great in the Michael Cera movie, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I love that movie.
We should do that one time.
We should do that one time. Absolutely.
Who is he in that one?
He's his roommate.
Oh my gosh, he is.
Yeah,
oh my
he
gosh.
is.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's a fantastic movie.
That is, yeah.
For me, Joaquin Phoenix really stands out, and I think it's just because, let's call it recency bias, because he is so different in this role than roles he's had recently. Specifically, Joker. It's Joker, Joaquin Phoenix right now, and the Signs, Joaquin Phoenix are like two completely different people.
Yes.
For me, even Joaquin Phoenix and The Village, where you could. That has a similar feeling to his character, right?
In Signs, they're saying.
Yeah, to The Village.
Yeah.
But he was a standout, and I want to say this is early in his career, early-ish.
Yeah.
Is this?
I think
This is before Walk the Line.
Yeah, I think this
And
is
Gladiator, right?
And Gladiator, about the same time as Gladiator.
Okay. Gladiator was before this.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, it was.
So he's coming into things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But he has the unfortunate responsibility of trying to be the humor in this movie. Now, this movie is funny, but humor is like so far back for what I care for this that...
You know what else was funny? Crop circles.
Why did I even entertain what you're...
I know Brandon gave me that look like, what are you going to say?
What are you coming at me?
Why? Again, I don't know. I think after you brought that up, I think it's all in Mel Gibson's head. I don't know.
Is that your theory?
That's my theory now, and that makes it a better movie. Because then they just disappear. They're just gone all of a sudden. After, go ahead, Dal.
Well, no. Did they come and do what they wanted to do then, though? Because really, if all
they
they're
got defeated by a primitive. That's what the
did they,
news
or is
says.
that? Yeah, that's what the news saying. Which, trust me, we all know the news nowadays. The news ain't always the best. or did they come down? They just wanted to harvest or study our bodies or whatever. I mean, if you go back in Morgan, Rory McCulkin's character is talking about in the book. If they come down,
the Book of Answers.
The book. I mean,
the convenient Book of Answers.
It
Gosh,
seems
that's hard to argue.
It seems to kind of tell us what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
and they say if they lose or whatever, they're just. I think that's why they took the bodies, or they're studying it, and they're gonna come back down 100 years. Or
they're gonna wear us as they're gonna wear skin suits of us and be able to survive.
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, they are.
He puts the lotion on.
No, I mean. Listen, the alien stuff.
It's second fiddle now.
As flawed as it is, I just don't care.
Yeah, it's second fiddle now to me. That makes more sense to me. Doesn't make me like the movie more, but I don't know. That's mind-boggling.
So, how would this play out if it's in his head? You just see it as this death of his wife has caused such a traumatic experience that he's now imagining an alien invasion.
He has to fabricate a way to find his faith again.
Now you got me interested.
Yeah, because the alien story is terrible. I mean, that could only come from a priest or a pastor. He's like thinking of all the things he maybe read in that book. Maybe he read his kid's book, and now he's just fabricating everything. And then everything that she said when she was dying came to fruition.
Interesting.
And then I don't know. Maybe that makes it a better movie for me.
Meryl hit him in the head with the baseball bat, and he's just knocked out.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe I don't know.
Usually on the podcast we don't talk about fan theories too much, but I think this might be an exception. What about this theory that the aliens are actually demons and that water is essentially holy water?
That would be a way better. Honestly, if they had presented it like that,
it'd tie into the whole religious concept a whole lot more.
Yeah. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
But why make that subtle?
Why make what
why if
religious
that is
aspect?
Yeah, if that is the theory, right?
The religious aspect is not subtle at all, though.
No, I'm not saying the religious aspect. I'm saying let's play devil's advocate. Let's say that this movie was never meant to be an alien movie, but it's disguised as demons to haunt, falling away priest.
Trying to get him all the way away. Maybe he has a glimmer of hope in his heart, a glimmer of faith. And so they're trying to completely destroy him.
By taking away his family, causing... Now we're getting interesting, you're right. Because look, he... going after Morgan, right, holding the kid hostage, he does say it's like, don't take away another one, don't do this to me, that sort of thing. Yeah. So that is an interesting theory.
When he says he's never going to waste another minute on prayer, but then he starts praying in the basement.
Does he pray, though?
I would consider
He's talking
that.
to him.
He's more just saying, I hate you.
Yeah, he's talking.
I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, who says you can't say that while you're praying, Matt? If you got a grievance, you file it in the complaints department.
I probably said that once or twice. I get it.
So, I don't know. That makes more sense to me in my brain, I guess, that especially watching it this last night, I definitely found more religious. I wouldn't say undertones because it's not undertones because it's right in your face. It's definitely more of a religious.
They
movie.
open it up is spanning across like the house or whatever, and then you just see the cross that's no longer there on the wall, but it's imprinted.
Well, he was a priest, right?
I know, but I'm saying like that's your first the first thing that kind of like you
image.
see
jumps out at you.
Yeah, so you immediately know like. There's going to be something to do with it.
It has to be
with religion.
I'm going with it because it has be because we have.
Are you just taking the demon thing and running?
Because the aliens come down. Because
his score might go up.
I'll take it. Dude. Keep going with it. Keep going with it.
These aliens are the worst aliens ever. They're so advanced that they can get to our universe. right, are to our Earth, right, our planet, but they can't. They don't have navigation, so they have to put crop circles in our Earth.
Dude,
so
if you want, we could get into all sort of weird technical stuff.
You know
they have to put the crop circles because our magnetic circulation or whatever throws off their things. Oh,
they're
we're
instruments?
Yeah, they're instruments. Oh, we're the only life they've ever found, so they just have to take it and run with it. Oh, it's a planet of 80% water. Sucks. This is our only option.
Aliens come.
Okay,
cloaking devices, and they.
I don't even want to bring up aliens again because I just like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Here, let me say this: the aliens do play one crucial point, and I'll walk myself back from saying they play second fiddle. They play into the suspense of it. If he's going to take this genre suspense thriller,
make it demons.
Maybe he just didn't think of it, and he was just really set on aliens. But
because of the crop circles,
if you're going, and it's a good setting too. You know, the lone house, right, in the crop thing. That scares me, dude. I've always had this weird fear of like country houses and cornfields because of this.
And what farmer doesn't have a gun?
Guns?
I don't know a single farmer.
I don't know, man. It's Pennsylvania.
A shotgun.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you'd still like to call in, I know we landed a dud on this. 801-331-8113. Call us. We are going into the fourth segment. We're going to wrap things up, talk about a little bit what we got going on next week, and then we're going to go over scores and whether or not this is worth your time to watch. This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network. What is good, everyone? This is The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network, talking M. Night Shyamalan's Signs. Something I want to bring up real quick is we threw out a poll on Twitter and Instagram on who likes this and who doesn't. And I would say about 75% of the people gave positive remarks.
I'm disappointed in our audience.
Here's the thing. And, oh, jeez. There goes our listeners.
I still love you, though. Keep listening.
Do you hear what you did to Cody? You hear this? No. But I feel like it's always been like that. About a year ago, we put out a poll and a lot of people like Signs. Now, why is that? And this is my theory. I think it's the suspense of it. Whether you admit it or not, I think people kind of like to be scared. I think it's fun, the jump scares, the suspense of it. And there's certain points throughout this movie, a few we've hit on, but that kind of get me. Maybe they don't jump, but I'm sweating even as I know. There's a monster outside my bedroom, and you see him on the roof. The leg coming out of the...
I forgot about that part.
That scene always gets me. Like, I was watching it with my wife for the first time last night, and I was like patting her on the back. I'm like, our baby's asleep. I'm like, don't scream. Like, don't. Like,
this is what's coming up.
Just be chill. But it's a testament to the suspense of it. You don't really see the whole thing for quite a while. There's always bits and pieces. The clicking on the radio and stuff. Yeah,
and I agree. I Dallas doesn't think there's so much suspense, but I think there's a great build-up, and I think that's why I didn't like it, because I was so disappointed with because when I first watched it, I watched it as an alien movie. Mm-hmm. And the suspense was there, and it would build up and the build up and the build up, and I'm like, ooh, this is going to get good. And then it wasn't good.
Fair.
That's where I was at with the very first time I watched it, and I was just like so just let down and so disappointed that was it, and it was just water. But now that we're kind of talking about the religious aspect and everything like that, it kind of makes more sense to me now that I'm looking at it through a different lens. And I feel like that's, I don't know, easier for me to digest.
So, Dallas, let me ask you this. The suspense doesn't get you, but is there at least an appreciation behind the crafting of the scenes to build this alien, demon, whatever we want to call it, right? Because you watch it for the first time, you know it's aliens, but you aren't entirely sure what's going on.
Oh yeah, no, and that's why I said like earlier when I watched it the first time, I think it is a little more suspense, like because obviously you don't know what's coming as much. But I mean I haven't watched this movie in years, and I still was like, okay, this is about to happen. This is about to, you know what I mean? I don't know, and I guess.
So why did you give it a 7.2?
Because I told you the acting is phenomenal in this movie, and I do like. I mean, some of the suspense is pretty good. Mm-hmm. You know.
Do you have a favorite scene?
Honestly, I think it might be the car scene when they first start hearing the, you know what I mean?
The click.
That's terrible.
Oh, dude, I kind of like it. No, I just
baby monitor. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't.
It just goes back to the.
I know, but they're just listening to Rory or Morgan, whatever, and it's just like, stop. Okay, now.
As far as suspense, yes,
because all of a sudden that's your first.
Yeah,
I
got you.
Otherwise, you think it's kind of like it could be just neighbor kids playing pranks on this guy's farm or whatever. But then you actually start to hear the little clicks, and you're like, okay. And I don't know. I think that's pretty cool.
You hit a good point because this is when up until then, he could have played the whole motif of, it's the neighbor kids out there pranking me, right? But there actually is an alien threat, and now I don't know it because I just think it's the neighbor kids, right? He could have played that easily, but this is the confirmation part that clicks when everyone's together. That's an interesting aspect, is they only hear the clicks and realize it's aliens when they're all holding on to each other.
This is the first time that Mel Gibson actually is like, he's starting to think. Shoot, it could actually be something else, because the other three,
even Joaquin Phoenix starts to think that,
because Joaquin Phoenix has kind of bought in a little more. But then,
well, just before this, a great scene, he's all like, this is just a bunch of nerds who didn't have girlfriends that don't have enough time to do anything, and then get together with other nerds that don't have girlfriends, and they do this stuff because they're dumb.
Doesn't he say like the nerds are winning now or something like that?
This is how the nerds win or something.
I think that's what he says right as Rory's like, it's on the baby one. He's like, this is how the nerds win.
So there were some good parts in this.
Well, no, what I like about this is it ties into that military thing, because he says, there's two of them talking back and forth, and then you remember it's like, this is the military tactic, right?
Yeah.
What information is he relaying? But this is when the invasion starts. The lights come, they start to see it on TV, right? This is the start of the invasion, saying, all right, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't good to go.
Even though they picked it up on a baby monitor.
I think that's real science. Isn't like those old 2000s baby monitors you could pick up any frequency?
I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
Why were they the only one in the U.S. that seemed to have crops? Because on the TV and everything,
it showed India and
they
stuff.
Talk about Mexico, India, Brazil.
Because now we know it wasn't about aliens.
It was demons.
It was about Mel Gibson's. I'm convinced, 100%.
100%.
I said it, 100%. Oh well. But I'm convinced that it was Mel Gibson's.
It's just all in his head.
Not all in his head, but his journey into finding faith again.
What you're saying is this is for those of you who have watched it yet, a WandaVision situation where he's just manifesting a reality into real life.
I haven't watched WandaVision yet.
Oh my gosh! By the way, when that ends, we're talking about that because it's
last
crazy.
Episode, I'm very invested in now.
Are you?
Man, it's so off track right now, but oh man, when that gets brought up, it's hard for me to not talk. With signs, though, let's talk more about the humor a little bit. We're getting wrapped up here soon. I watched an interview today where M. Night Shyamalan actually said he accidentally made this too funny for his liking. There's that scene where they're both running around. We talked about it during break. Yeah. I laugh out loud almost every time. I actually think that's hilarious.
I laughed out loud with the tinfoil hats. When they walked in, all three just sitting there.
Both times with the tinfoil hats, I'm laughing. Yeah. When it's just the kids. Yeah. And then Joaquin Phoenix is sitting on the couch with them. The tinfoil hats are pretty comical.
Yeah.
What I find interesting about that running around the house scene is Graham is still scared to swear, and whether you think swearing's a religious thing or not, I think it still kind of shows that he's had that glimmer of light in him the whole time.
This proves the point again.
That is all in his head.
Yeah.
Let's go through. I want to give you guys plenty of time to talk about anything we've missed. Let's go through our thoughts again, our ratings, and then whether or not it's worth a watch. Dallas, do you want to start?
Yeah, I think one thing we did miss is the great dinner scene where no one eats food.
You're right, dude. What a powerful scene.
Well, that was a good scene.
I'm just saying more also. That looked like some dang good food, and no one eats a gosh darn bite.
Oh, he does.
Well, he has one food and then starts bawling. Yeah. But, I mean...
You talk about acting, man. Yeah.
No, it's a
powerful scene.
And again, kind of accidental comedy when he grabs Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin doesn't really want to hug at first, and his face when he pulls him in is, I don't know why, but I freeze frame it because it's almost cartoonish the way he comes in. But no, I do enjoy this movie for the acting, and yes, there's some convenience and some whatever you want to, if you want to think it's demons or aliens, but as religious movies goes, for someone who's not religious at all, it's a pretty good religious movie. So yeah, I'm going to stick with my 7.2, and I definitely think it's worth a watch.
Awesome, Cody.
All right. Well, I might give it a 5.9 now.
Oh,
I might give it one more little.
it up a little.
I think that brings it from like a 7.3 to a 7.4.
But I'm gonna say it's worth it.
Oh, nice.
But I don't want to. But I think it's worth one watch, and you guys can come up with your own conclusion if you like it, and kind of run with it. So.
Awesome. I'm sticking with mine as a 9, and which is a whole point higher than a year ago. I just find the dynamic so interesting, right? You say it's a problem, Cody. I find it interesting. Aliens and religion. I don't know why it works for me, but it does. It's an interesting concept. Maybe it just hits me more. I am an alien guy. I don't know why. I am a religious guy. Yeah. Maybe it's just two parts of my life coming together that I find interesting.
You're like, finally, a movie for me.
I don't know. But I do find it very worth a watch. Dallas, you said you watch Goodfellas at least twice a year. I probably end up watching Signs about twice a year. So I think that gives it a collective score of 7.4 out of 10. I think that's fair.
That's fair.
I think that's
score. Yeah.
Next week we are doing The Little Things, right?
With Denzel Washington.
Washington, Rami Malek,
Jared Leto.
Leto. That's a stacked cast.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: I've read some early reviews, and they do not look good.
Well, that's why we do what
That's
we do.
what we're here for.
Yeah, we got to give the common man the criticism he needs.
I believe it'll be out in theaters. It's already out in theaters.
Yeah, Friday it came out.
Friday. It is also on HBO Max, which I'm starting to believe HBO Max is the best streaming service out there.
Yes.
So get that. We're going over The Little Things next week. Follow us on social media. We really want to build our audience. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You could find this podcast on the Fed by Ravens Media Network, YouTube, Apple, Google, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you get it. Find us. Interact with us.
Leave us
comment on our Instagram, everything. We leave polls. But this has been The Common Critic on the Fed by Ravens Media Network.